Kevin, what can you say about the energy day one, especially with John Chase?
I thought the energy was good. It's been good. We've kind of changed up the off season a little bit and done some things a little bit differently from the beginning this year. And I've been really, really pleased. We got a lot of young guys and a lot of guys who have had a little bit of success playing, and I think they understand, what we need to do to get better. Um, they've been pretty critical of themselves, and we've been honest with them as coaches. So the energy level's been good. We've got enough veterans here to understand a few things, but yeah, anytime you have that and you got new blood as players, and you've got three new coaches, there's always some new energy.
What type of imprint, stylistically, schematically, are you expecting from Dave Christensen?
You know, I, he's always been a guy that has been adaptable. He watched the transformation at Missouri to really a really open scheme when he became the coordinator, and was really effective. Um, as a head coach, a little bit different, and then at Utah, a little bit different there. So, he's well versed in offensive football and line play, and whether it's been from a run game standpoint with running backs, two backs, one back, quarterback run, he's been efficient in all of those areas, and so he's we're looking to get better, and there's no doubt that his experience, his schematically and physically will help us. So he brings a lot of experience to this offense, and maybe a little different way to look at things, which is always good.
Are any players limited what they can do because of injury or
Oh, there's a bunch of them. We got a bunch of guys. We'll try to get you a list. We had a number of surgeries. That there's guys that are out completely for spring. The question would be, why are we going spring this week? Based on the time they wouldn't have been here, at all. So, we've got, for us, this is a really good time. It gave us roughly 7 weeks or 7 or 8 weeks before to of lifting. Really we had a couple weeks there in January when we got to school, the 20th, and then the whole month of February to be around our guys after signing date, as coaches and players, to get things going. And then now we probably not probably, I know we do. We stretch spring ball out as long as we can. A couple weeks before spring break, take spring break off for those guys that might have twisted ankle. People ask, you get an ankle twist or a bruise or something like that, you still got a chance to get that guy back, for a week or two with spring break. So, we stretch it out as long as we can. But we've got a number of guys that surgically, like Mike Matthews, are out, for the whole spring. Taro Laka is a guy like that. Just right off the bat, I don't know. We'll get you a list. But what that does, though, is give some reps. We know what Mike Matthews can do. And what it does is gives us the ability to put some other guys in there and see, who's going to be a backup center for us, what the rotation in the line is. Josh Reynolds is another guy who had shoulder surgery, played all last year with a hurt shoulder. We knew it during two-a-days. He elected as a tough guy, said, hey, I'll do it after the season. Played all season with it, and he have 13 touchdowns. So we know what he can do too. So it's going to give the guys like Ratley, Christian Kirk, some of these young guys that were even when I talk about Ricky and Speedy, who were high school quarterbacks, we're going to get more reps of playing wide receiver and the technical part of it because of some of these guys being hurt. But that's just where it is right now.
Who are your primary
How
contenders
do you
at
think
left?
Kyle Allen will handle being kind of the Lone Ranger? You had such a great
You know, I
year
asked him that
Christmas.
during stretch. I said, "You gonna take the spring off?" And he, you know, every now and then he looks at me with that face where he doesn't like me. So, you know, I don't see him doing that. He's not built that way, and he understands. He wants to get better. I think, you know, him ending the season as the MVP of the bowl game is good for him from where he came against in his first start. So, you know, the way he's wired, he's not a guy that's just going to sit around and be there. He wants to be great. That's why one of the things that made him one of the top guys in high school, he understands, you know, what he's worked on in this short off season. It's been a lot of explosive work, a lot of foot quickness, and becoming, you know, that next step of understanding, you know, conceptually what's going on instead of just play-wise what's going on, and being able to think, you know, conceptually. So there's a lot of things he can do, not just in here, but there's a lot of things. This process started with him when he got back, and, you know, for the meetings that we're able to have now in the off season without practice are one of the things, but you know, with quarterbacks run the non-coach 7-on-7s, and that's another part of developing leadership, which, you know, he's been able to do that for the last couple of weeks.
Who are your primary contenders left tackle?
You know, we've got guys that, you know, GI obviously is gonna get a shot at it. He's earned the right to do that. Avery Genesee, you know, was one of the reasons we brought him here. You know, he was one of the top guys in the country in junior college. You know, I would say somewhere, you know, those two are the top guys right now. Coda's a guy that will eventually be a great player here, but he's keep remembering everybody's moved on and now he's being a redshirt freshman. He's still a freshman, so although he's 290 some pounds now, he's really athletic. You know, there's a lot of things he can do for us. This will be a great spring for him. So, you know, we've got a number of guys there that we feel good about, and the ability to move guys around. With Jermaine Illuminor, you know, mostly working inside a guard. He's about 325 right now, so big, strong guy. You know, remember those two guys were he and Avery Genesee, probably the two highest recruited JC linemen in the country that year. So, you know, we'll see what happens. You know, stay one, and you know, Miles back tightened up. So,
For the harness?
yeah. So that's a GPS deal. We've got some sports science going on with that. That's a whole different deal. But kind of like the show, huh? Sports science. We're tracking all these guys. But you know, again, too, we'll see who the left tackle is and if they can block Miles every now and then. So we'll evaluate off. We got good people, a good guy to evaluate off of. How's that?
Joe Martin working at center right now?
A little bit. Yeah, he's athletic enough. You know, he's a team guy. You know, he's 290 something, and he's, you know, runs like the wind. He's smart, coach's kid. So, you know, I'm not saying that's what he's going to do, but you know, we've got a number of guys that we're kind of playing around in there, and we signed a really, really good high school center. But, you know, he won't be here till June, and you know, here's a guy who's 290 something right now, probably 300 when he gets here. It'll give him an opportunity to probably have the same kind of situation that Mike did, where he doesn't redshirt, he plays, and as a backup center. So a year from now, he's not completely green.
What type of energy have you seen from Aaron Moorhead so far?
Really good. You know, I saw him run a couple. He was kind of showing off today, I think. So, you know, he ran. It wasn't a complete route, but it was a drill, and I said, "Wow, that looks pretty good." And I think, you know, if I said that, I'm sure the players did too. But he's, you know, what we were looking for was a guy who was you know, number one, a technician, and a guy who could help our guys, you know, go take the next step from a technique standpoint, and with, you know, and understood the game from that position. And, you know, I don't think you could get a better guy that's the way he was. You know, he's a guy who played that way at Illinois, an undrafted free agent, just kind of made the team and ended up with a Super Bowl ring. So here's a guy who displays work ethic, and I think our guys understand how. Here's a guy who's worked his way, into being a Super Bowl champion, and understands what it takes to play at the next level and develop, and that gives you instant credibility. I think going the route that he did, not just playing in the NFL, but the route that he went to achieve what he achieved, and so I think the players understand that, and he gets that open ear right away with that, and he's a little bit younger, so he's able to see through some things some other guys so he's got great energy too. So it's all three of the guys have been great additions, and it's I think anytime, just like I said, when you got new players, you got three new coaches, it's there's great new energy, not just today, but I think that'll carry throughout the spring.
How nice is it to see Coach Chavis out there running around, bouncing around?
Oh, it's great. He's been excited since he's been here, and we've had a lot of great conversations, and he told me today, we're standing out there before practice. He said, he's looking around at those white helmets, and he said, Coach, I can't tell you how excited I am for today. And I said, I can't tell you how excited I am too. So, it's good. We got some, new. Anytime that happens, on the pace practice, we changed it a little bit today as a teaching pace, and I was. Kind of interesting at the end. I said, hey, before I could say anything, he said, Coach, he goes, it was good. He said, but we can go faster than that. Don't worry about it. And I said, all right, we'll be careful what you wish for. We can go real fast here. So, no, we'll we got new concepts, and so we're just trying to get better as a team, and fundamentally, there's some things that we're doing I think that make sense, and he brings, like I said, a lot of experience. Not just in this league, but overall, and I think right now it's one of those situations where guys are learning in a new defense, and we got a couple 3 days here before we scrimmage, so we'll see where we are, but I'm really pleased with the energy right now.